generally do is go ahead and go to our website, but here we went ahead and pulled it up already on Bid for Assets.
Okay, so I think we can see it right here. There's a couple of different sales. Right now, there's also Washington, that is holding some sales right now. We can see a few of those. They're just wrapping up here, like the Berks County, but this is the one we're going to check out right now.
Yeah, in fact, that Berks County was one of the Deal of the Week videos that we did a few weeks ago to talk more about Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Now, what we can see here is, the deposit deadline here if you want to register for it, and we can see the total number of properties they have at 677 parcels up for auction, starting at about $1,400. And then we can also see here, if we go down here and look at the auction folders, if you have an account there on Bid for Assets, you can download the Excel version of the list, but here is the electronic version of the list.
Yeah, definitely. And with a list of this size or an auction of this size, if we're going to really start breaking down this list, what we're going to do is we're going to download that Excel version so that we can start using the quick glance method and bracketing and start reviewing that list and narrowing it down to properties that fit our investment objectives. So, if we're looking here, we can see a lot of information on these properties, the opening bid amount, the property value, and if we only have $30,000 to invest, then we're not going to spend time looking at properties that open up for $100,000 because that's not a property that we have the ability to buy right now.
Yeah. In fact, this is a pretty big list, and so if we were going to look at it seriously, we would need a way to kind of weed it out and narrow it down a little bit more. So if we were focusing on vacant land, then we would eliminate, all of the improved properties. Or if we're focusing on improved properties, then it might be the opposite, and we would, eliminate all of the vacant land. And then look for other ways that we could begin to kind of narrow it down a little bit. For instance, we could focus on the pricing and kind of start to bracket the list down into groups of pricing. There are different ways that you can avoid spending too much time looking at everything, because it's really not the purpose. You don't need to look at everything, on a 700 property auction list. It's more important that you kind of use your time effectively and try to find more effective ways to highlight properties that have potential.
Yeah, well, and with this list, we have the improvement value and we have the land value. So if you were only looking for land, it's pretty easy to determine which properties you're going to eliminate. You're going to eliminate the properties with improvements. Vice versa, if you were only looking for land, we would go ahead and eliminate those properties that had improvements, and we're automatically going to narrow down that list. Then we're going to figure out how much we have to invest, and we're going to be able to narrow down the list more. But let's go ahead and let's look at a couple of these properties and see what's available through their auction.
Yeah, so let's see here. What we can do is we can actually see the very first property on the list. It looks to be a single family home. It shows us on record here that it has a $21,000 opening bid. We can see the address here for it. And if we go down, we can see it has a $57,000 land value and $132,000 improvement value.
Yeah. Over on the left-hand side, we can see additional information, the parcel number, the address, you can see where it says view parcel map, and then also view GIS, which is going to be the online map.
Yeah, so if we actually click on that, hit agree here, go out there and plug that number in.
And what he's going to have to do with this one, he's going to have to type in the parcel number. There's some auctions that will automatically, once you click on the link, will include the parcel number, and it'll automatically pull up the record for you. Here, they're just giving you the website, and we're going to have to go on there and type in the parcel number. And then one thing as well is we can see once the map came up, it is just an overhead map, doesn't include any satellite imagery. And so we'd have to go over to the base maps or to the layers to be able to find some of that information.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact,
one thing that's interesting though is if this is just the lot, we can see that part of this home is off of the lot.
yeah, which that's an interesting point. We can see that this lot is really too small for this house. In fact, something that is kind of interesting that you can figure out is if we were looking, oftentimes when properties are foreclosed on, if they are owned by the same people, it'll be one right after the other, and so they'll be listed, in order sometimes on lists. And so if we were to look at the next property down, let's see what this is. So it says it's just a vacant lot. We can see, it gives it a value there, but we've got that APN number. So let's pull that up.
Well, and part of the reason why this is important is if you were to buy that first property that includes the home on it, you want to buy this second property as well. Otherwise it's going to, you're going to set yourself up for a lawsuit. So if we're ever looking at tax sale property, be sure to check out the other property that are surrounding this and see, like in this case, where this property is essentially the back half of it. Really, these two lots should be combined into one lot, but right now they're being taxed as two separate lots.
Yeah, and so they were foreclosed on as two separate lots, therefore they're being sold separately, even though it looks like it's all part of the same building. Yeah, kind of interesting situation there, where you can see. So in this case, it's listed as vacant land, but in reality, it's not really much vacant land there. It's mostly home,
Well,
or partly home anyway.
and that's because the improvements are included on that first property.
Yeah.
They're not giving that property, even though there is structure on it, they're giving the value of the structure to the larger property. But even in that case, we're going to want to own both of them. And really, I would probably look to the county to see if we can combine those so that they're just one property. Because I think if you were to go look this up, in fact, when I was looking up some of the other maps, it looked like it was one lot. It was only separated through the county record.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, and so really, just those two first properties were pretty interesting, but there are so many more that we could look at. Even the next property down, the third one down. We see here this one has a higher opening bid amount, current bid or opening bid of 72,000. And we can see it has a listed land value of 253 and improvement value of 194.
Yeah, definitely. We have some of that same information. What we're automatically going to go do is grab that address and look up the online map. Then we can also take that take the parcel number, look up the online map, then take that address and look up and see if we can find any Google Street View or any type of Zillow value, Redfin value to give us an indication of its true value or closer to its market value.
Yeah, and there we can actually see that address right there. And if we wanted to see if we can get another image here of what it is. We can enter it in that way here. And okay, so that is actually the property in question here. So it has a $72,000 opening bid amount. Yes, but it's actually a pretty nice house for looking at it. This is it right here. Let's see what it's valued at.
Well, and we're looking there at a 2015, Street View, and we mention this all the time, but we're going to continue mentioning it because we still see people making this mistake. Don't judge the online information. you're going to have some type of on-site search done before just bidding on it sight unseen.
Yeah, but it has an estimated market of over $1 million. And it looks like yeah, in fact, yeah, it looks
It
like it.
tipped out at 1.2.
Yeah, yeah. In May, it was as high as 1.2. So it's started to come down a little bit with the housing prices coming down. But yeah, great property that you could go after starting at under 10% of value. It's starting for about 7% of value.
Yeah, it looks to be a real good property. And if we were interested in it, we'd do some more research, we'd go and do some on-site evaluations. But yeah, definitely a really nice property. And this is just one. We've only looked at just the few first properties on the
Yeah,
list of 600.
first three. That's it. So yeah, there are some great deals on this list.